Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Angela and I'm an angelic Arcturian, and I'm here to transmit this fourth video in my series entitled How I Got Through It, where I talk about how I got through some of the more difficult parts of my life in hopes that maybe you won't have to, or at least you can find some guidance in it maybe. But today I wanted to talk about my journey with chronic pain. It was a big part of my life for the past decade and something that I really struggled with a lot. So when I was in my late 20s, mid 30s, I really started getting into pole fitness, and I decided I wanted to compete in world and national pole fitness competitions. So I started training really hard, and around the same time I decided to open a studio and teach it as well. And so I was training, I was teaching, I was also teaching strength training classes 2 days a week. So I was really hitting it hard because I wanted to start entering competitions. And you know, I was running a studio as well. So I came to a point where I was just really overdoing it, I think, but I came to a point where I was having a lot of pain in my back when I was sleeping and stuff. I would wake up like really stiff, and I dealt with that for about a year before I went to the doctor about it. I'd just take ibuprofen and Tylenol, and it would get better as the day went on. So finally, after about a year of dealing with the pain more and more because it kept getting worse, I decided to go to the doctor. And I got x-rays, and they told me that my discs were all messed up and that it looked like I had been in a car accident, the damage that was done to them, to one of them especially. And so they told me eventually I was going to need surgery, and in the meantime, just manage my pain. So they sent me to a pain clinic, and the doctors there just gave me a bunch of pain pills and sent me on my way, which was fine and dandy. I wasn't, worried about it, but I was very uneducated at that time. I didn't understand what dependency was. I didn't know the side effects I was going to be dealing with in the long run. So I just went about my way, and I started taking pain medication every day. And my body did go through some changes there in the beginning that was just really weird as I was adjusting to these pain pills. And then I just got to a point where I became dependent on them, and like I had to have them. And my first withdrawal was when my surgeon doctor was like, well, I'm not going to give you any more unless you have surgery. You're going to have to go to this pain clinic, because I was getting it from the back doctor first. So he sends me to the pain clinic, but between him cutting me off after a few months and when I could get into the pain clinic, I didn't have anything. So I went into withdrawal. I didn't even know what was going on, and it was the worst withdrawal ever. That I still don't remember a withdrawal that was more painful than that, and I've been through some pretty nasty ones, but that one was just so painful. I remember I ended up in the ER crying because I was in so much pain from not having pain pills. And the thing that I learned about pain pills for managing pain is that when you take pain pills, you basically pause it, but when you run out, you're going to get all of that pain at once. So you may be putting it off a little here, a little there, but eventually you're going to run into a situation where you can't get your medication, or somebody steals it, or you run out, or something happens, and you're gonna wish you were dead when you're dealing with all of that pain at once. But I didn't know that then. I know that now. So I continued on my journey. I did physical therapy. I stopped doing pole fitness because it was just too much for my spine, and I was really depressed about that because I really loved to do it, and I still do, and I still wish I could do it. But so I started down this path of dependency and doctors and pharmacies and medical insurance, and it was just a effing disaster all the time. And then throw the opioid epidemic on top of that, and it was just absolute madness to try to get any kind of pain pain management. It was a joke. So first they kept putting me on higher and higher and higher doses until eventually I was on like 2 morphine 30s a day, time release, and then like 6 oxycodone 30 milligrams a day. So I was on a really high dose of pain medication there for a while, and it was just causing me more pain, and it was making me feel more depressed, and I couldn't figure out why I felt so shitty all the time. And I had tried to actually get off of it a few times, and I wasn't able to do it because I couldn't get through the withdrawals, because I was like, screw it, I'll just deal with the pain. Like, I hated being dependent on pain pills. I hated it. I hated that my life revolved around, am I going to have enough meds? You know, am I going to be able to make it to the next doctor's appointment? Having to plan things around, do I have enough pain meds? Like, it just sucked. It was no way to live. And then on top of that, dealing with people who wanted to steal my pain meds or expected that I should give them to them, or, you know, just being really demanding and then actually ending friendships with me if I didn't do it. But if I give my pain medication away, then at the end of the month, I don't have any, and I go into withdrawal and nobody gives a shit. So I learned that lesson real quick too, that, you know, people will say whatever they can say to get what they want from you, but ultimately they don't give a shit about you. You know, I've had to learn that the hard way. So I finally, after about 4 or 5 years of like being on really high doses, just wanting to get off, I finally just reached a point where I was like, I have to get off of these. Like, I want off. And so I put myself into a medical detox place, and they detoxed me for 7 days, and I was on a really high dose, and they didn't give me any kind of what's it called, Suboxone or anything. I just basically did a cold turkey, and they managed my symptoms, and they were like, oh, it's not going to be that bad, well, we have drugs to counteract whatever symptoms you may be experiencing, so it's not going to be that bad. So I was like, okay, great, you know, this is going to be fairly easy. I'll be done and over with and on my way in a week. Well, it was the worst detox that I had ever experienced. It was so brutal. And after 7 days, I still just felt like shit. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep. I was just sick as hell. And so when I got home from the hospital, I just went back to taking pain meds again, because I just wanted to feel better, because I was so sick. And that made me even more depressed, because then I felt like I couldn't get off of them, and that I was going to be stuck on them forever, because I had tried a few times to get off of them and I wasn't able to. And I started to really feel like I was never going to be able to get off of them. So I continued taking them for another year or two after that, even though I really, really wanted to get off of them. And then I finally reached a point in January of 2016 where I was like, you know what, I'm done. Like, I am done. And I put myself into a major withdrawal, like a super fast withdrawal. And I was sick for probably 6 weeks. It probably took me 6 weeks to finally become like functionable again. Like, it was bad. It was the worst one I've ever dealt with. But after I did that, I stayed on really low doses after that. Like, I did get back on it for about a year, because I made it probably about 6 months after that big withdrawal. And then I ended up going back because I didn't know, like, my brain, I can't even explain what it does to my brain, but it's like my central nervous system just freaks out without it, because it's so used to having the drug that when it doesn't have the drug, it's like my central nervous system is just like skitzing out and like firing off in all directions, and the anxiety is so bad, like the discomfort that I feel in my body, and it's horrible. So I finally and then all the pain on top of that, and it's like really raw pain, because your body isn't making natural painkillers anymore, because it started to depend on the pill painkillers. So you have like no painkillers in your system for a while, and you're feeling everything like 100%. And so that's really difficult to live with and then try to keep up with your regular life. And I'm a single mom, and I couldn't even get off the couch. You know, when I didn't have any pain medicine, I just couldn't function. I couldn't move. I couldn't do it. It was too much. So I finally got back on them, and I was on a really low dose, and I stayed on that low dose for about a year or two. which was nice. That was pretty nice. My pain was manageable. I wasn't on too high of a dose of pain medicine, and I was kind of found a little balance with that. But I still wanted to get off of pain pills, and so I think it was the year before last, I just detoxed off all of my pain medicine again, but this time I found kratom, and so I just switched and started taking kratom. And kratom, if you don't know what it is, it's like an herb or something from Malaysia that just grows everywhere out there, but it has a lot of, it works exactly the same in my brain as a Loratab or a Percocet does, like as far as keeping my brain like calm and keeping everything calm, and it works just as good on my pain as the pain pills do. It just doesn't have all the horrible side effects. It still has dependency. You're still gonna have that dependency if you take it every day for chronic pain, but you can't overdose on it, and it's a hell of a lot safer than narcotics. And you don't need a prescription to get it. You don't have to fight with insurance companies, doctors, pharmacies, and everybody in between who wants to make money off of your sickness, which used to really piss me off about that whole system, is it's completely contradictory, and nobody gives a shit. They're just trying to make money off of your pain in whatever way they can. Like, it would not be uncommon for the doctor to write me a prescription, and then I go to the pharmacy and they're like, well, we're out, or well, your insurance won't approve this many, or this or that, or excuse or whatever. It was always something every time I went to pick up my pain meds, or it had to be exactly 30 days, which just didn't give you any flexibility in your dosing schedule at all. Like, you'd get so many a day. If your day was longer, if something happened, like, there was nothing you could do about it. So you're just really, really restricted, and there was no flexibility at all. We had to take drug tests. I got treated like a criminal. I was judged by every Tom, Dick, and Harry out there. People, the most famous judgment was because I take pain pills, that I must be addicted, I must be a pill popper, I must be a pill junkie. And that one was a very, very, very common judgment that most people had. If I told people that I took pain medicine for my chronic pain, and here's my x-rays to show you my fucked up back, like, it didn't matter. People were just like, you're just a druggie. You just want to pop pills. You're just addicted to pills. Like, constantly I got called that. And it wasn't true. I wasn't addicted to pills. I was dealing with chronic pain and trying to adjust my life to pain, because pain requires that you change things in your life. You can't keep living the same lifestyle once chronic pain becomes a part of your life. It really slows you down in a big, big way. And so, yeah, I was doing the best I could to manage my pain and to be able to keep functioning as a single mother and working full time and going to school and taking care of little kids and running all over the hell and back and doing all the stuff that we do as single parents. And so, but yeah, there was a lot of really unfair judgment. And not only did that judgment come from people, and these are the same people that you've catch in your drawer trying to steal your meds, are the ones that are calling you the druggie and the addict. So it's such a joke. But even doctors and pharmacies and everyone else it seemed like they were always doing whatever they could to not give me my medicine, or to not, at least not make it easy to get it. And so it really, really sucked. Like, I hated dealing with that. I hated fighting with them all the time. And so it was just a joke. It was a joke. And like, my whole life, if the doctor decides he's going on vacation, he's going to cancel all his appointments for the week, and that's my week to get my meds filled, like, they didn't care. They did not care. But for me, that meant I was going to be in withdrawal for a week and I could lose my job. And that was always a threat that was always looming over my head, and one of the biggest motivators for me to get off of them, because I hated that a drug could have so much control over my life. And I feel like with the kratom, like, I'm happy with the kratom. I would like to get completely off of everything at some point, but I'm going to have to move to a warmer climate in order to do that, because it's way too damn cold here in Utah to get through these winters without any kind of pain medicine. But I'm trying to get to a place where you know, hopefully I don't need any pain medicine anymore. I've really just been trying to focus on like healing myself and vibrating out of chronic pain, because chronic pain is exceptionally miserable, and it's really shitty to be stuck in a body that is painful all the freaking time. I think of death as the absolute relief. Like, I cannot wait to be free of this painful body because it just hurts. But you learn how to deal with it. You get used to it. You adjust your life around it, and you just cope with it the best that you can. But if you've had problems with pain medication and pain management in the past, like I have, then you can definitely relate to what a joke it is. And the thing I love about Kratom is that I can order it online as much as I want, and nobody's telling me no, no, no. I don't have insurance companies trying to block me or charge me ridiculous amounts of money. And yeah, it's a circus. It's a total circus, and I'm glad to be out of it. So I'm living life pretty comfortably now as far as my pain goes, and the Kratom's been working excellent, and I hope that I never have to take another pain pill again. So if you are wanting to get off pain pills, definitely check into Kratom. I think it's been a lifesaver for me, and a lot of other people would agree to that. So if you do decide to take it, I start with 2.5 grams. The Mingda, I think, works the best for pain, but some people say that the red strains do. But anyways, there's stuff you can find out more about that on YouTube. Just Google like Kratom strains or whatever. So anyways, yeah, but I think that's been really helpful for me on my chronic pain journey, and hopefully I can just continue to vibrate out of it, because that was a really, really low frequency that I was in, and I wouldn't wish that kind of misery and suffering on anyone. Although I feel like there's probably millions of Americans who have experienced that to some degree. So yeah, I hope that helps you in some way, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.